So one of the things that's great about 12 gauge is there's such a wide variety of loads and types out there. It really is versatile. Can also make it a little confusing when you're trying to pick out ammunition. The way you read a shot shell box, first of course you want to check for your gauge. These are all 12 gauge that we have. This is the approximate overall length of the shell. Typically shotguns are chambered for 3" or 2 3/4. You can always shoot smaller shells in a bigger chamber, but not bigger shells in a smaller chamber. You want to check with your particular shotgun first. It depends on how the shotgun's designed. There's lots of variables that go into that. Then what you have here is shot size, the weight of shot, so how much of it, and the velocity. These two right here are how you can get a sense for how much recoil the load is going to have. The heavier it is and the faster it is, the more recoil it's going to have. So this is 1 1/8 at 1145. This Winchester is 1 1/8, right? The same weight, but it's moving faster. This is going to have higher recoil, typically. 1 3/8 moving at 1250. We're getting heavier and moving faster. You're going to feel that. And as far as shot size, like this is a 6, this is a 5, this is an 8. Well, those are sizes for the pellets that are in it. We've opened up one of these 8s, and you can see all those little pellets. Those are size 8 shot. If we move up to size 6, we're looking a little bit bigger, but really not terribly bigger, which is interesting because you will certainly feel more recoil with the 6s typically. So what about buckshot? So buckshot, much bigger pellets. You can see here they tell you exactly how many pellets, only 9. Moving at 1150, so about the same speed as that birdshot. But look at those pellets. That's all it's in there, 3 or 9 big pellets. And then of course your slugs are a single projectile. One big bullet type thing. This one's a little mangled from the process of prying it out of the shell, because that was not easy. But that gives you an idea of what's in there. Now these all have different effects too on their target, depending on your range, and they have different usefulness depending on range and chokes. That's a little more advanced than we're going to get today. We're just going to show you the basics. So not every shot load has enough energy to cycle all semi-auto shotguns. For curiosity about that, you can see some of our shotgun videos where we show you in our What's for Dinner test what cycles and which of the guns we've tested. To simplify the effects of, or simplify a demonstration of the effects of these different loads, I've got a round of birdshot, a round of buckshot, and a slug loaded in this magazine. This is an STS Imports MFPA, MagFed Pump Action. And we have 3 pumpkins. Why? Because it's October. So I'm going to shoot 1 round of birdshot at one pumpkin, the buck at another, and the slug at the other, and then we'll go up close and take a look at what the difference of having finer pellets versus larger shot does. So let's take a look. First up, the birdshot. This will be the softest recoiling of them. Now the buckshot, this will be a little bit heavier on me. And that's certainly blasted. Now the slug, remember the slug is a single piece of lead. And that blew pumpkin all the way back here. We'll dismount the camera from the tripod and take a closer look at the damage from those. Totally unscientific. This is meant simply to give you an idea of how the pellets impact things. We would have loved to have shown you patterns on paper, but as you may have picked up, it's a little wet here in Oregon today, but we still wanted to get this content done. So let's take a look at those pumpkins. So first off is the birdshot. We can see we have lots of little tiny pellets that entered and exited. The most damage we saw was from the grazing stuff that hit the side and kind of ripped along the side of it. But lots of little pellets doing very little damage each is how the birdshot do. Next is our buckshot. We've got significantly larger holes. Buckshot typically delivers about the same energy as a 9mm per pellet. 9 pellets, it's like 9 shots of 9mm hitting at once, and this is about the damage you would see from a 9mm shot per shot all at once. We blew a chunk off. Didn't, of course, have the patterning down on this particular gun. Patterning is a whole nother issue with shotguns in that each shell type by manufacturer, weight, velocity, all of that is going to favor maybe high left or high right or low right, low left, depending on the shotgun barrel. So it's one thing you want to do if you're ever going to try to do very precise shooting without using a choke, is shoot that load at some paper and see what it does first. And this gaping hole, which went through sideways, is the slug. That was a 1 ounce, basically 50 caliber diameter, giant piece of lead, flying at a decent speed, hits pretty damn hard. I like slugs because they turn your shotgun effectively into a short range rifle for using in close in. I mean, if you can handle a rifle well and you can handle the recoil of slugs, this is pretty convincing.